Play Monkey and Ryan and Dorado, which is fine. Coaching scene, import, let's go. And this is Mid Diamond. And we are now watching Mitchell. Up next, I don't know. I haven't looked at the VQ yet, so we'll see. Mid Shield, which, you know, common term for tanks in a lot of MMO games. If you're gonna play Ryan, we have to make sure that we drop at the right time. We can't stay up here shielding forever. If we want to do that, we might as well have chosen like either Sigma or Orisa. But with Ryan's area, we want to make sure that we just engage at the right time. Are we taking the TP? No, okay, it's fine. Monkey's jumping on us, we just swing at the monkey, he just missed the jump, which, you know, good for us. And again, we have to make sure that we drop at the right time. Either you drop here when the payload is coming through so you can contest whoever's from the payload, or the rotation I usually make is that I'll go back either through the window or all the way around, depending on where the enemy is, and hold this corner or this corner, which are the better ones, in my opinion, to hold. And again, if you drop here, the idea is go to this corner as well. Just damaging the monkey is fine. The monkey drops. We need to rotate. Okay, we are rotating. I'm fine with this. That's a good pick from your team. This is fine. I do think you're a bit too far forward. Like, your team is only still, like, rotating with you. Your Zarya is with you at least, but I would wait one more second to finish the rotation. You are getting healed, careful, but yep, good bubble from your Zarya, which is quite aggressive. We got this payload, we play around the corner like I said, so that's pretty good. And we should just win this fight, the monkey's dead. Don't chase too far forward. I will say this, you need a Lucio if you want to chase people. If we don't have a Lucio, we cannot chase people. Because they just run away, and we are slower than they are. So the idea is, we kill the monkey, that's good, we just hold the corner. Because it's difficult to chase people very far away when we don't have a Lucio, and also it is even more difficult to come back when your shield breaks. And yeah, we are just a little overextended. Good fire strike. You back out. We have no shield, which is a problem, but should be okay. We can just stabilize behind the corner. You're McChrist for you dead. You help the McCree, which is good, but yeah, we just wait around the corner. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad they didn't punish you, but with so much damage, they could have punished you very easily for going aggressive without a Lucio. Especially after the Dumbfist punched you in the face. Why are you looking behind you? You don't have to turn around, pretty risky, yeah. Like, if you have a Lucio, I would be like, yeah, that's fine. Because with Lucio, you can just chase after them or get out. But you have to consider, like, not having a Lucio is a big problem for mine. It means that you want to play a lot more defensive, because going aggressive is not going to get you a lot of value. I was gonna say, if you want to look behind you, or you are trying to bait each other, but they just changed the Rhine. No, they were playing Monkey before. He was on Monkey before. He just changed the Rhine. That's why he doesn't have any chairs. So yeah, bait by each other is good, but don't forget that. I don't know why then. Maybe you forgot. Maybe like you did just now. You forgot that they were not on Rhine, and you thought maybe they do have Shatter. So you just turn around and it's okay. Like, I was gonna say, if you want to, I thought that you were trying to check behind you, in case like the Doomfist was coming on a flank or the Soldier was coming on a flank. I was gonna be like, you can turn your camera around by holding the right click and then pressing the left click and looking around. I assume you know that, but I wanted to remind you of it. It does kind of look like, I assume you knew that, so it does kind of look like we're trying to bait out Shatter, which, you know, that's fine. They didn't have a right to begin with, but, you know, happens. That range is very low. We can push into that. Not again. We don't want to overextend. Like this corner, it's basically as far as you can go when it comes to aggression. Because when you go around the corner, then you lose line of sight of your supports and your DPS and whatnot. But we can't go aggressive because the rank was very, very low and he has no heal either. Like even the rank is just waiting, so I would have gone aggressive there. I would have gone aggressive. We could have punished this Rhine very, very badly. Like, look at the Rhine's health right here. 110. And the shield is at 400. We should have pushed this Rhine. Like, you're playing a little bit safe, which I'm not against. But when you see the Rhine that has no health, no shield, we have a Zarya, McCree, and everyone in your team is alive, there is no reason for you not to push this Rhine. He doesn't have a shield anymore. We could have punished this Rhine pretty hard. Instead, we just give them time to stabilize, which is unlucky, and they just push back in. Ignore the people behind you. Maybe you're trying to bait the chatter again. We go aggressive. That's fine. We grab. I do want to point out we got like you're playing very defensive. We got grab before shatter. You're playing very defensive, and you shouldn't be. You're Reinhardt. You should be at the front line. Your Zarya is doing a lot of work on the front line, but you should be even further ahead than she is. And I don't mean like in this case where we both went very aggressive. I mean like we can walk basically up to here safely. Not safely, but you know, manage your shield, manage your health, and so long as you have more shield and health than their Rhine, you're fine. So go more aggressive into the Rhine. Good fire strike. That's a good shatter, but now you have to play defensive. Also, our Zarya stat, which is very unlucky, and they trans, and they visor, and we just the third skill to people, but yeah, this is a fight. I'm doing so many ultimates in that fight and still lost. Who do we nano? We nano the Zarya. Oh, that's why Zarya went aggressive. But yeah, we are basically playing a little too defensive. Like, our grab is out and we are behind the payload, and it's like, I want to swing at that grab so badly, I would just jump over the payload. And another thing is that don't go out this way. Always go out this way, so you have cover, right? Because doing this means that now you are out in the open. Whereas if you come this way, it may look more dangerous at the beginning because you're approaching them from a tight corridor. But if you swing from here, the enemy doesn't have a good line of sight on you. Whereas here, you're just standing out in the open. And again, the shutter's good. Like, you do get a good shutter, but at this point, like, our Zarya's dead, which is unfortunate. And we are out in the open, so we just take a whole lot of damage, and we just die. You could have done exactly the same from this angle, but not taking the Zenyatta Discord volley, which kinda killed you, and we would have survived. Okay. Well, now they have a shatter, so we should be watching out for that. Second, it's a really good point to go Monkey if you enjoy playing Monkey. Like, Monkey from the high ground, you can drop for free, and then you have Bubble, and Leap to get out. But I'm fine with Rhine still. With Fire Strike, we can play around the corner, which is fine. If you take a lot of damage, we just back out 2 steps, which is what you're doing. Where's our Ana? No, she's in line of sight. I just wanted to make sure that you were in line of sight of your Ana, which I assumed you were, but always check. And we just get melted, which is, again, I think you're just playing too defensive. Which is a big problem when you have like these situations, because they do damage to you and we don't do damage in return, and they just get value. Like, we swing a couple times, just stay aggressive. We have full health, the Rhine has half health. And we back out with full health. Rather than pressuring the Rhine, you're doing this a lot where we get an advantage over the Rhine, but we don't pressure. Especially, like, we have Zarya bubble, right? No, Zarya has their own bubble, but we could be pressuring this Rhine a little bit more. Also, you don't have to shield around the corner. You should get blown up, so I got scared. Definitely right. Like, you can get blown up pretty easily. But the thing is, their team is, like, they have a couple of people pushing the payload, and going a little aggressive isn't going to kill you. Instead, what you're doing is you're playing around the corner, which, again, I'm not against playing against this corner, but you should also not be holding the shield all times. Like, why walk out in the open there, right? If you're going to play defensive, just play here and wait. Instead, you keep doing like, I'm going to go aggressive, no, I'm not. I'm going to go aggressive, no, I'm not. And it's costing you resources. Like, see what I mean? I know you can get blown up pretty easily, but by just playing here and shielding everything, you're losing a lot of resources. And when you try to go aggressive without resources, you're taking even more damage, which again causes you to want to back out and lose more resources. You're basically being bled dry for your resources because of how defensive you're playing. It's a mix of you want to go aggressive, but you're afraid of going aggressive, which again, don't get me wrong, can be very difficult because there's a lot of damage in the game right now. But what I want you to do is, if you don't want to go aggressive, if you want to play defensive, just play out of line of sight. So that when they engage around the corner, you can run at them instead. Because the idea is that, hold on, just... If you're playing here, right? If they want to come at you, they need to be like on this line of sight. Maybe here, like up to here, they can still kind of see you. Right? Like the more defensive you play, the less they can see you. And the point is, if they want to attack you while you're holding here, they either come all the way over here where they are vulnerable, or if you're playing even more defensive, then they have to come around the corner, because then it becomes this, and they have to cross this line to do damage to you. Any damage to you, right? And when they cross this line, especially if they want to go aggressive, they're breaking line of sight of their team while still getting line of sight of your team. So let me just explain this real quick. Let me go a little higher up. Let me just get rid of the thing on the screen. Okay. So if you're playing around this corner, right? The idea is your team's line of sight, which will draw with blue, is this, right? Their team's line of sight, which I'll draw with pink, is this. So if you're holding here and forcing them into your... I just raised the wrong thing. If you're playing here and forcing them into your team's line of sight to do damage to you, then your team can do a lot of damage to them. On the other hand, this is if you're playing defensive, not playing aggressive. If they want to go aggressive on anyone on your team other than you, then they have to commit even more. Like if you're playing like, right, let me get this. If you're playing here and the Rhine wants to go aggressive on you, the Rhine has to both go, if to go at you, he's got to break line of sight of his team and enter line of sight of your team. And this is the shared space, right? Like this is the space where both teams can see. We want to avoid taking an engagement here, which is what you're doing when you go out in the open. Just erase a few of these. When you go out in the open around this corner, what you're doing is you are entering their line of sight. Yeah, force them to commit, not the other way around. If you play aggressive, if you want to go aggressive with a Zarya bubble, you can do that, but we need to stop doing this when we don't have the resources to go aggressive. That's the whole point of holding a corner, right? Like, by doing this, you're entering their line of sight and even exiting. Like, if you take one step too far forward, then you are exiting the line of sight of your own team. So it becomes a lot harder for your team to support you, especially on defense, right? When you're playing on defense, this is your advantage. When you're playing on offense, you have to evaluate the best rotation and move together as a team to try to push the line and get value. But on defense, your biggest advantage is positional advantage, because you can choose where the fight happens. That's the whole point of defense. Like, if you're playing on, let me just get the thing back. If you're defending, we can choose where the fight happens. If you're on offense, you can choose when the fight happens. Is there any reason to go aggressive apart to full charge? If you see the opportunity, yes. Like if the Rhine just goes a little like, even if he doesn't step into your line, if the Rhine goes like into the open and he takes, I don't know, a stun right click from McCree, or he takes a ton of damage from Symmetra, or if he's just holding his shield and his shield is low, if you see an opportunity to go aggressive, you can punish their overextension, which is a good way to go aggressive, and then you can just kill the Rhine, or at least pressure the Rhine into backing out because he cannot contest you, and then you just, instead of chasing, we just come back to the defense. And yeah, you get all charge, and you can maybe get a kill, and you can at the very least force them out, which is very, very important. So it's not like going aggressive doesn't have its merits, especially if you have like a very brawly team that is like, imagine instead of those two, we have like Baptiste and Lucio, right? We want to go aggressive. We have Baptiste and Lucio. We have so much healing. We have immortality field, and more importantly, we can all move together as a team, right? That changes the whole game. At that point, we can go run into them. Like if we see that someone is pushing payload and doesn't have line of sight on the fight, then it becomes a 6v5. So we just push into them before the person who's on the payload has any chance to contribute. At that point, if you can coordinate it, you can just go aggressive with your Lucio. We can delete the Rhine because we have 6v5. And at that point, because your team is moving with you, rather than this being your sideline becomes whatever your team is looking at. Because your team is moving with you, right? So if you end up here instead and your team is with you, then this is the new sideline. And yeah, the sidelines are contested at this point because this is also the enemy's sideline. But if someone is pushing the payload, then their sideline is like this. And if they want to push forward, their sideline becomes kind of this, which is, again, not as good. And they have time to push forward as well. So it definitely changes depending on your composition. On the other hand, like if you have a very slow comp, like imagine instead of these two, we have like Hanzo, Junkrat, right? Which is a ton of damage. Instead of going aggressive, you bait them, even if all of them move together, you bait them into your team sideline because we have so much damage coming this way, and all you have to do is keep backing out and keep baiting them further into your team. So the way to play, whether you want to go aggressive with your whole team, whether you want to just hold the corner, because let's just say you want to bait them into your team silent and out of their team silent, especially like if you can bait the Rhine out of their support line of sight, that's the ideal, because then you get to do a lot of damage to the Rhine without it being healed. Well, of course, you are being healed. But yeah, if we have like a very brawly team, we can all go aggressive as one. If we have like a kind of a hybrid with McCree is kind of brawly, but Symmetra plays a little slow, and we don't have a Lucio, so we're not really a brawly team. We can't really chase together because again we don't have a Lucio. And Ana is good single target heal, but not really good AoE healing. So yeah, we can just hold the corner defensively and try to bait them into our line of sight. And if we have like a ton of spam damage rather than just baiting them into our line of sight, we can just bait them further into our team. To, well, Hanzo and Junkrat can just delete people at that point. So the answer to the question, is there a reason to go aggressive apart from all charge? Yes, if you have like a very brawly team with a Lucio who all move together, you can go aggressive, especially in this situation where someone is moving the payload, because you are basically taking a 5-6 in your favor. Or if you see that they have low resources, like maybe the Rhine shield is breaking, maybe Rhine is low, right? Then you can just be like, team, go forward with Lucio. We all just speed and kill the Rhine. Instead, you're just trying to back out. Now you're trying to back out. With a spammer comp, I would want to hold further back. No. The idea is not hold further back. The idea is start on the same corner, but be aware that you want to like bait them in, like kind of what you're doing right now, right? You're just kind of like, the problem with this is that you wasted a lot of resources fighting for this corner. But yeah, just kind of what you're doing. You just keep backing out and keep baiting them into your team, so that like Hanzo, Junkrat should be on the low ground, Hanzo should on the high ground, just rain damage on their team while they try to chase you. So yeah, you start here and bait them in, and then you keep backing out, and they keep chasing, and you have like Hanzo killing them and Junkrat killing them. That's it. even if we don't kill them, then their shield is going to be broken, and then you can re-engage on the Rein, who has no resources, and kill him. Especially like the further he goes into your team sideline, the further away he goes from his Anya sideline as well. So if you choose the perfect moment, you can turn around and kill the Rein with all of your damage and your Zarya's help with the pop-up, and the Rein just dies immediately while out of line of sight of the Rhino. So is this what you did is not wrong? The problem is that you ended up trying to contest the corner a lot, like going forward into the corner and taking a lot of damage, like both to your health and your resources, which forced us out, and now they have better resources. But again, if we keep baiting them and you do die here, which is unlucky, we had no shield. If you had a shield here, you could just keep baiting them out, and their tanks keep getting further away from their line of sight. So maybe you like get here, and their tank line is following you, and just turn around and kill them. But yeah, here we just die to a combination of things, I think. Us having no shield, us having little health, and getting punched by the Doomfist. And they just win the fight, which is unfortunate. Oh, by the way, while we are at it, let's talk about the same thing on the first point. Why I told you, like while the payload was here, why I told you I wanted to go this way rather than this way. It's the same reason. If you go this way, then the line of sight becomes, if they want to shoot at me over here, they have to come out in the open, into my team's line of sight, right? It's the same idea. Holding corners is about lines of sight and holding the space for your team to get damage. While their line of sight is basically this. So let's draw that a little better. So if you do this, we are entering their team's line of sight, and we are technically still in our team's line of sight, but while going aggressive, and we are giving them free damage. Otherwise, if you hold here, you can do damage to around the corner, right? But they still cannot see you. And also, if you want to retreat here, doing this means that they still have to. Let's erase those. Doing this means that their team's line of sight still has to be like this to see you. On the other hand, if you're here and you want to back out, they can see you from like over here. So you give them a bigger angle to shoot at you, the further away you are from cover. Whereas from here, they can't shoot at you, and if they want to shoot at you here, they just come out into the open, like this. It's the same idea. Playing closer to cover basically narrows the line of sight of the enemy to see you, until they are basically just playing on the same line of sight that your team is. So let's go back to the actual view. And by the way, I do want to emphasize this. I know I said that playing close to cover is ideal. Yes, that's right. But you can still get blown up. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of burst damage in the game right now, so you can still get blown up. But like a McCree standing to right click at the hands of storm arrows, especially if you are discorded, you can get blown up pretty easily. But the whole point is, at least you are making it a lot harder for them to blow you up. Good contesting this Doomfist. We forced the meteor strike. That's the word. You drop no tanks, which again is good. And this is the same thing. Why not play here? By being out in the open, now they can shoot at you. If you play here, they cannot. They have to be here, right? And I think that is already the biggest thing you can do to improve your survivability a lot. We get grab, we get nanoed, it's fine. And imagine the same thing. Imagine if they had nanoed you here, because we were playing here, right? The enemy team, again, has to come very far forward to try to kill you. And you got nanoed, so you may survive. You do survive, which is pretty good. And the Reinhardt is doing really good, by the way. We go aggressive and we kill them, which is, again, really good. That's a free shatter if you want it, but I think the fight is won, so we don't need it. Okay, I didn't mean right away. I meant with the Zarya bubble. Like, there's a Zarya bubble. I'm sorry, I'm going back because we see the Zarya use the bubble. Just wait for it to break. Here, I see the Zarya use the bubble. About now, just wait for it to break or go away. You can't wait. Now, this is unfortunate. The idea is right, and I'm like, okay, I think the fight is won, but using Shatter is fine here to make sure we clean up. But just wait 1 second for the Zarya bubble to go away. It's still one fight. Like, did we need Shatter? I don't think we needed Shatter. We had basically already killed 3 people, but I'm not against you using Shatter to clean up if you think it was necessary. But yeah, don't throw it into the Zarya bubble. This is okay, we just have to be, again, holding the high ground with Rein means that you have to be ready to drop in the right position. Because Rein doesn't get value from the high ground, right? All you can do is maybe 5 strike while they're coming through, and the idea is, yeah, I'm allowing my Kree, my Symmetra, my Ana maybe, my Zarya to right click them. I can be here and shield them a little bit if they are threatened, but you have to be ready to drop like around the corner to hold this corner. So I'm against you playing Reinhardt the high ground? No, I think it's fine. You just have to be ready to drop whenever we have to. Again, yeah, you can fire strike, we can take a little damage, it's fine. Someone called it a coming top left, okay, that's good. That's a great kill from McCree. And we are not getting a ton of value right now. Just trying to deny the answer. Yeah, it's fine. Again, trying to deny the answer, the area is fine. We are not getting a ton of value, but that's okay. Waiting can be an important part in Overwatch. We don't have to go aggressive here. Like, how are we gonna get there unless we get the TP? But even then, if you TP by yourself, you're gonna get blown up. So just waiting here is fine. Like, we are defending. If we were on the attack, I would be like, okay, yeah, we have to do something. But we are just defending, and the enemy team is just kind of wasting time, making a long rotation, and the Rein is not gonna get value from here. Whereas we just use the wall. Like, Symmetra wall is okay here, and we kill the Ana, which is a very big kill. And you just being here and denying them this high ground is good enough. Like, yeah, just shield your McCree. Soldier is dropping to push the payload. If you want to, you can just drop and kill the soldier on the payload because he's alone. Just remember that he has movement and you don't. But at the very least, you can contest the soldier on the payload. You can also stay up here. I think both are different choices with different ideas. And yeah, if you coordinate someone dropping to contest the soldier, then you don't drop. But you can just drop and kill the soldier, or you can stay up here and try to meet the enemy team. But your McCree drops and kills the soldier, which is free. And again, your Zarya is going very aggressive, even without it. Which is, she's walking on a fine line, but I think you should be walking on the same line of going aggressive, playing with cover, going aggressive, playing with cover. But we win the fight anyway. The too long don't read of that whole thing was, you are fine staying on the high ground, don't worry about it. Because I know a lot of players get really impatient, like they feel like they are doing nothing. But waiting is fine here. We don't want to walk into them. Like, if we try to go at them this way, their Hanzo, their Zarya, their Zenyatta are going to do a ton of damage to us. Because we're basically pushing into the silent, right? That's the whole... We come back to the same whole thing. We don't want to push into the silent. We want to wait for them to push into ours. And we have control of the payload, so we don't have to do anything about it. They are the ones that have to push the payload. This is fine. That Zarya is alone right now? Oh, I was gonna say, what's shooting you? It's just a right click. We can go on that Zarya. Again, we don't have speed, so I would not be like, just chase her to the end of the earth. But you can be like, okay, rather than hold this, I'm gonna move here, where they have less of a sideline. They still have a sideline, but they have less of a sideline, and we can push into their tanks. I'm, again, fine with either choice of going this way or staying on the left, but we all have to do it. And again, like, this is not ideal. Like, don't hold this if their tanks are coming this way. You're getting damage, and we don't have the range to contest these guys. But contesting the tanks here is good. Also, Ryan has Shatter. Yeah, I just saw it. I don't think he has used it yet. Or if he has, I probably... No, he used it once after you died on the first point. I remember that. I don't think he used it after that. And we just grab... They counter Shatter, which is something very common against grab. You get Nano, this is okay. They counter grab as well. They are investing so many ultimates. And we trans, so this is fine. That's a good fire strike, by the way. And now Shatter. Good job. And charge into them. I know charging is not always the best idea, but we are on defense and trading is good for us. Because our spawn is a bit closer than their spawn. So I would just charge into them. Even if you die, you're probably going to take the Ana and the Zenyatta, which means that they have no more healing. So I would definitely just charge into them. They have nothing to stop you. They have no CC right now. Yeah, there you go. Kill 2 people. We do die, but worth it, absolutely. Now they have Ryan, Zarya, Hanzo with no sustain. So we just win fight. Good Shatter. That engagement was pretty solid. The only thing you could have done better is block the enemy Shatter when blocked the enemy Shatter when we grabbed. That was the one thing you could have done better, because if you grab, you have to be careful because the enemy Ryan is always looking to Shatter when he gets grabbed because the enemy team just goes into it, right? So that's the one thing I think you could have done better there. But other than that, this fight went pretty well. And yeah, their tanks are here, but they have no one to heal them. Like, our Symmetra can teleport, and McCree can do damage from range at them. Like, how are they going to get out without a team? Like, these 2 guys are just dead. They have no one to save them. They are trying to get out because, you know, that's the only thing they can do, but... And they do kinda get out, but again, they have to give up the good position they had for it. And the Zarya even dies. And the Rhine even dies, so there you go. Now we just run at them. I know I say don't overchase if we don't have a Lucio, but if they have no tanks and your entire team is with you, go for it. Like, here we have a big advantage. Or sorry, is that maybe not a big advantage? Maybe we can just capitalize on this and use the shield to get the rest of the Zarya. Where did the Zarya die? Oh, she's just there. Okay, I missed her because she's literally beneath you. Just shield the rest, and we'll be fine. And again, be careful of going aggressive alone. Because you are alone right now. Like, your Zarya is being res, and your team is just going that way. And remember, it's very dangerous to do this without a Lucio, because they can punish you pretty easily. Like, they are not going to, because their tanks are dead and whatever. Just be careful. I'm not telling you that that's the wrong thing to do. Just go to a fire strike to get your health. But yeah, you just have to back out right away. Are we going back to the high ground, or are we holding here? I would hold the corner again here. Missed the fire strike, that's fine. Oh my god, we're only a third through. I just realized that. I spent a lot of time explaining silence. Let's stop a little less. We back out because Nano Rhine is the right thing to do. They have a lot more sustain. Someone woke him up. That Zarya is rushing a little bit too far, but your team is a little split. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Which is not ideal. And they shatter and we just die, which is, again, fine. They use 1, 2, 3 ultimates. We had 2 ultimates, but we didn't use them. They ulted first, and they had more and better ultimates, so it's like... Yeah, it was probably a difficult fight to win. Do I think you could have won it? Yes! Someone woke up the... actually, it may still be winnable if these rest go through. I'm surprised you got the rest with literally 3 of them right here. You got pinned, which... it's fine. Don't charge like that at low health. This is suicide. And you do die for it. Just shield. Remember, you don't have to kill them. In this case, all you have to do is survive. Like, the Hanzo's dead. All you have to do is... I know they have a Rhine, which is very dangerous. but you just back out with your shield up, so the Zarya cannot kill you. And if the Ryan turns around to try to kill you, we have like a McCree trying to kill him instead as well. So I'm like, well, they don't have an Ana, so they have very low healing. I think even their Sun is just coming back. Where's the Zenyatta? Yeah, even their Sun is just coming back. So I'm like, rather than trying to pin the Ryan, just back out. Back out with your shield up. And if the Ryan tries to go for you, McCree is trying to help you. Instead, we just charge the Ryan and die because they have a fully charged Zarya on us. And do I think this is winnable? Funny enough, I don't think this is winnable, but I think we can take a fast free contest with like the entire team. And they will not get here in time because they just... Like, this McCree, for example, is not going to get back in time. Like, yeah, McCree is still like rotating and we are already about to fight. So we should be one person up for this fight. That's a very weird choice from your Symmetra. But you know what? It may actually work out, so... The payload! You forgot about the payload! Just rush at the payload here. You go away from it rather than towards it. Like, this swing is fine, but then instead of keep going towards the payload, you just go for whoever's behind. And we just forget about the payload. We could have contested. We were actually so close. We could have actually won that fight as well, because you were literally in the backline. And we have much better spawns as well. That's so unfortunate. Your Zarya is also like, oh, there's a Ryan in front of me, I'm gonna get out. And you're like so close to contesting here. But you just turn away at the last second, which is very, very, very unlucky. That's just unfortunate. Let's do a chip shot and call that unlucky. Unlucky. Like, I think it's just unlucky. We move on. Was that fight winnable? I think it was winnable. I think we just kind of fucked up with not being able to touch the payload, but it's fine. Very unlucky. Don't go for like two quick things. Don't go for max range shatters from the in front of the enemy Ryan because he's got more time to react, of course. And I believe that you jump before shattering. Never jump before shattering. Oh, you didn't. You landed and then shut up. So don't mind the second one, but this such a long shatter gives the run like look how slow it travels. Look how if he was even jumping, by the way. So if you were a little closer, this would have gone under the Rhine and gotten everyone behind him, which would have been amazing. But the problem is very long range shatters just have to give the enemy time to react. And he just barely manages to block it. Like, the idea was good, but the problem was that you were so far away. And then we go aggressive. You get nanoed. Should be a one fight at this point. You jump. Don't, like, I keep saying this. Jumping with Ryan is not a thing anymore. I know shield jumping is a thing, but especially when either you or the enemy Ryan has shatter, jumping means you can't get shattered under your shield. This goes for you, the enemy Ryan who just did that. And I think that's what happened here. Hold on, we go aggressive. We go aggressive. You get nanoed. We are jumping, which I hate, and your shield is not up, but you would have gotten shattered anyway. Well, you did eat it. I think your shield was down. But even if you had blocked it for yourself, I think it would have gotten at least your Zarya behind you. And the Mercy, that's a weird one on the Mercy, but you did just eat it, but never jump. If you or the enemy Ryan has shatter, just don't jump. That's a great sleep from Orana, by the way. Just save the entire fight. Also, we won Bastion, which, you know, also helps. So, Fire Strike, just to try to get the ult. They're coming to the left. Holding the choke here is really good. Like, how are they going to kill the Bastion if we are set up on choke? The Bastion is not set up right now, which is a problem, but if we just hold this choke, they are never gonna manage to put through it. Like, yeah, that's it. Like, how are they going to kill this Bastion? Jungler spam is not gonna do it. They grab, well, sorry, we grab. We can go aggressive on, even though they have a jungler, we can go aggressive on this. At least to a 5 strike out, yeah. Trap is unlucky, but yeah, one fight, anyway. And we just clear up on the point and win the fight. Yep, good job. Yep, that last fight went well. Let's go to your attack. Let's see if we can do this really quick. I can already see that this is going to be a problem. So I see Bastion, I immediately just back out. What I will be doing is I will play behind the payload, like just crouch behind it and move the payload from behind so I take as little damage as possible. And eventually they are going to be forced to drop. At that point your team can just get value. Yeah, just play behind the payload, behind the payload, behind the payload. Don't go out like in the open like this. This is very risky. Like, let me show you the Bastion line of sight. If you just play behind the payload, he has a much smaller hitbox to hit, so it means he does less damage. Again, playing with cover will help you a lot, and here you're just getting deleted. You managed to survive, and yeah, we just pushed the payload from behind, and your team actually did this pretty well. Like, everyone just grouped up behind the payload, which is a pretty fine sight, but we made it work. And now, even if the Bastion wants to set up again, we have the opportunity to go forward. A lot of us get stunned, which is a problem, but it should be okay. Now the Bastion set up again, we play around the corner, we play behind the payload. Good kill from your okay, but be very careful about the Bastion. Yeah, you just get deleted by the Bastion. Like, that stun from McCree is really good. Then what I want you to do is just push the payload from behind at this point. Like, the Bastion set up again, we don't want to go aggressive into a Bastion. This is good. Now just rotate to be behind the payload for free cover. Because what we end up doing is we end up going aggressive into the Bastion, which is deletes us. We do have Mercy, maybe we can get the rest off. We do get the rest off, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a great rest from your Mercy, and Genji distracted the Bastion too. So we win the fight, great job. We don't block the Shatter, but I'm okay with it. Like, this rank should be dead, yep. He just wasted his Shatter, it was literally him and Sari against 5 people. So that was okay, that was pretty solid. You did go out in the open from behind the payload a couple times, which is not ideal. Like, the way you force Bastion comps is... if your payload is moving this way, right? Then we just play on this side, and if they want to come at us, we can shoot at them from behind the payload. Just go a little bit, like if the payload front is here, you can go a little bit around this corner to shoot at their tanks or do damage to their tanks, because your range is pretty big. You don't need to go like fully commit to them, and we have like 2 people who can do damage at range. Genji, rather than range, he just flanks and tries to get the attention of the Bastion. And if you see that your Genji is taking the attention of the Bastion away, then we can go aggressive again. That's pressure point. Yeah, that the way you play against Bastion comps is you have someone pressure point or everyone pressure point, which forces the enemy to contest it. And by using cover, like up to here, you can just use this, right? But then you have to play with the payload. And then we play around this, and yeah, that's the whole point. It's pretty simple. We go back to main. Again, be careful. Like, this is the opposite situation of the thing, right? You have to be careful of not breaking line of sight of your team. And in this case, I think your Ana is on the payload. Where's your Ana? Yeah, she's kind of on the payload. She's trying to move the payload at least, but she's actually being forced to come forward to heal you because you're going aggressive around the corner. So this is okay. Up to here is fine, but you're doing the same thing where you are like going a little bit around the corner and taking damage, especially from like the Bastion is not moving anymore, but will be already good. Like if the Bastion should sit up here, we just get deleted. So it's the same idea. That's a free shatter, by the way. The run shield is either broken or very low. It's so low. I would just shatter it immediately. Like, look at the Vine Shield. I would just shatter it, and if he tries to put it up, we just delete it with McCree. Good shatter. I think you even stopped, yeah, you even stopped the Hanyon. That's a pretty good shatter. You got Pay and Bastion ults, and you die? You should. Great. I was saying, great job backing out of the line of sight of the enemy team, but then we just charge back in, which I'm pretty sure we're gonna die here for that. Yeah, you just die for it. So yeah, you did one thing right and one thing wrong. And again, the idea is if you force the Zarya to be going this way, then your team can just do damage this way to the enemy team because they have one less person focusing you. But it was probably a lost fight. They did commit 1, 2, 3, 4 ultimates, and we used 2. So it's fine to lose that fight. They used so many ultimates. Just regroup with your team then. If the Bastion, again, if the Bastion is playing here, you can just go this way. We go here, then we go all the way around here, all the way to here, and now we come this way, which is a lot closer to the Bastion. Or we go from here, and we come out this way, which is not as good, but still doable. But don't be out in the open like this, because you are just gonna die to the Bastion. You barely don't, but yeah, be careful. You're just waiting for Ana to get heals, which is fine. Actually, who chased the Bastion out by themselves? What happened here? Oh, no one chased them out. The Bastion was just like, oh, I'm getting out. I'm getting the heck out. No, wait, the Rhine went back. And that's why the Bastion is rotating. That was so weird. They basically just gave up the whole corner. Which is, you know, good for us. You play with cover again. Don't go out this way if you can go out this way and get more cover. Also, the Rhine's jumping a lot, which means we can just try to shatter under him. Oh wait, we don't have shatter, never mind. They have shatter instead. This is winnable though, like even after you get shattered. And yeah, your shield, again, why I'm talking about cover. Either play behind the payload or go this way to try to chase them. Because we are walking into the Bastion basically, and it's just deleting our shield. And we do just eat the fast. You even jump into the fast strike, which is into the shatter, which is less than ideal. But yeah, we just eat it, which is not great. This could be a one fight though. Yep, this looks like at least a decent attempt. Yep. Okay. We come back fast because the Bastion's dead and it's basically only 2 people on point with no healing. Your Ana gets none, your Zarya, sorry, gets none out. Yeah, we can go forward. Good job. Don't overextend past the corner. What are we trying to do? Are you trying to pin the Bastion? Because, yeah, that's a dangerous idea. Oh, that's... Okay, we do survive. I think you survive, you get out. That's not the right idea. Yeah, just keep playing with cover. Forget about the high ground. With Ryan, it's very difficult to contest the high ground against Bastion McCree. It was very greedy, yes. All you do is you play here. You know the bastions up here, so what's he gonna do from here? He can't shoot you around this corner, and the idea is, well, we can push up to this corner for free, and if they try to contest us, we just kill them. And we also have a Genji who can contest the high ground for us. Which, too long don't read. Did you die? No, but we have no shield right now. We have to let it regen. And again, be careful when pushing out to the open. Like, if the Bastion was still here, this would eat up your HP. The Bastion, he's not up there. Your Genji chased him out, which is pretty good for us. But... okay, that's really good for us. They grab. Shielding the grab is fine. You go aggressive on the Rhine, which again is fine. Don't... okay. If you had not been counter-charged, this could have been your death. If you had actually pinned the Rhine, I think the... hold on, where's the Zarya? I think the Zarya could have killed you during this charge, because your HP is a little low, it's at 350. I think the Rhine actually saved you, yes. And this is even... oh, I don't know why your Bastion got up, but this is even better for us, because now the Rhine is on the ground for a second as well, and we have the advantage, so this is just better for us. And you turn around! I do hate that. I know why you're turning around. You were just like, Bastion ulting us. I need to shield it. Never turn away from the front line. The reason I'm telling you never to turn away from the front line is because everyone else can look away and still help with Bastion. But if you look away from the Rhine not only shatter, right? Forget about the shatter. He can put pressure on you by swinging at you. And he can do damage to your health. And everyone else in the team can do damage to your health. So it's like very risky. And this is insane. If you manage to win this fight with this shatter, I will actually... I don't know. But this is pretty insane. Yeah, the fight is lost. This fight is just lost. So, by the way, if they're set up on the high ground like that, we can push this way, which again uses cover, and then we can either go beneath them, which if we go here, they can shoot us for a second while we make this rotation, but that's it. Or we can just go all the way around and go from here. Or we can be like, okay, we have cover, I have cover, I have cover again, I have cover again. Now I'm using the payload as cover. Rather than just go in main and let them shoot at us. Like your Genji just did. Good rest. And this is very dangerous, right? That's my whole point. That's why I want you to be a little further away, because at least further away, Bastion doesn't have as much damage and as much, like, the spread makes it worse. We're pushing the payload, but your team cannot come with you this way. And I will say this, other than, like, the one thing I want you to work on, other than playing more with corners, is stop charging so much. Charging makes you very, very vulnerable. And like you said earlier, right now you get burst down very easily, and this gives you like 1 whole second of vulnerability while you prep the charge, and then the entire length of the charge itself. So it's like, stop charging out in the open like that. If you want to go for like insane big charges, the general way of doing it is like, you ready up on like a corner like this, and you pin into your team, because your team will usually be playing here. So you ready up here and you pin into your team on a short charge, and where the charge will start. Watching that for a second idea. Funny. But yeah, the idea is we want to start the charge on a place where we are safe, because again, you're actually most vulnerable when you start the charge, because it's like a whole animation and then we go into the charge itself. So it's like 1 whole second when the enemy can just shoot, stun, whatever you for free. So starting the charge inside will make it better, at least less likely that you'll take 1,000,000 damage, and also charge into your team because, well, even if you don't get anyone, then you are already with your team, rather than charging away from your team and into the enemy team. Like here, imagine you kill the Reinhardt. Imagine this charge kills the Reinhardt. You're dead, like 1, 2, 3, 4 people just looking at you, and you can't really go anywhere. Like even if you go inside, they can just chase you and your team is gone. And of course, we didn't actually get around, which is another matter, but it's like, if it was the other way around, if you charged the enemy away from their team and into your team, that can get you a lot more value. Not only does whoever you pinned not get the support from their team, but also now your team can shoot at them instead. So, guides for charging, if you can, start always in cover, and always chase towards your team, or like on a horizontal line that will not take you away from your team, right? Like, if your team is here, you can be like, I charge from here to here, and it doesn't really take you away from your team. But if you go like, I charge from here to here, your team is like a lot further away to follow up and help you. Looks like you guys capped this. Good fire strike, we forced the Bastion out. That's a great sleep, we have a free rotation thanks to that sleep. We're going to the high ground, that's good. So the idea, one of the ideas I want to point out with Ryan is, if the enemy has like a lot of range damage, like they do, right? The best way of playing Ryan is try to get as close as possible while using cover. That's, if you want to kill them, that's the general idea, like. And that's why this is a good rotation, like the Bastion is holding up here. So if we want to come at the Bastion, we can't really do this, we can't go all the way, like this is silly, right? But this is good, because we have covered basically every step of the way, except for this little thing. Because we can go all the way over here with cover, then this little thing is the only moment where they can actually shoot us, and even then they have to be like out in the open like this to shoot at this corner. If they're just playing here, they can only shoot like over there, right? And of course, the sleep also gave us the free rotation, which is even better. Be very, very careful. Again, first thing first, always stick to your cover, because the further away you are, the easier it is for them to shoot at you through the cover. And the second thing is decide what rotation we're making. Like, that grab is very risky. And that's even riskier. The fight is lost, just get out. You're trying to push the payload a little bit more, which is very bad. You're staggering yourself, like you are not getting out alive, yeah. You could have died like 5 seconds earlier, and that 5 seconds your team doesn't have to wait for you to come back. Looks like you guys win the next fight though. I'm guessing you get a big shatter, like, we should not win the next fight. We have 2 ults, but 3 ults against their 1, 2, 3, 4 ults, and their ults are better than our ults. Like, we have same ult, better than shatter, and they have decent ult. Fire strike's good, we go under them, which is, again, don't make this rotation, make this rotation for cover. This is free cover for you. Like, the Bastion's actually melting your shield and shooting at your health, because you went out in the open like this rather than doing this. Which doesn't look like that's a big of a difference. Like, doing this rather than this doesn't look like a big of a difference, but for you it actually meant like 200 health and 500 shields, which is a pretty big difference. And then we just die, we just missed the Reinhardt behind us. How do we win this? I have no idea how we win this. Like, the shatter idea was good, but they just got a bubble. Like, if the Ryan charges at a free shatter, but he gets bubble, so we don't hit him. We can't even touch. Are you gonna charge into the point? Okay, you're gonna charge the point to touch. And of course you die because of the passion. How does this happen? So your Wrecking Ball touches. Mercy is going to kill the Bastion. Mercy and Genji kill the Bastion. They rest the Bastion. Everyone gets shattered. Nanopod to keep surviving. Oh, and Bastion just kills people with his ultimate, which shouldn't happen, but the enemy team is not paying attention. Like, this was the game. Oh, well, the fight at least. That's just silly. And you came back, of course. Let's look at you. Oh, you get rest, yeah? At this point, you can just go aggressive because they have no healer anymore. Fine with this. Shield the High Noon, that's okay. He's dead, good job. Wow. That was a cluster of a fight. They had won that fight so easily and they threw it all away by not looking at the ulting Bastion. Hey, good cap. And down the ball should be. Maybe not. That's a free kill on the Bastion. Like, is anyone on your team looking with you? Actually, no. But this Bastion should die. Like, you can just walk forward with your shield. I know your shield is low. I know your HP is low. But if anyone in your team is playing... Your shield is not low. Your HP is low and your shield will break, is what I meant to say. But if anyone in your team is paying attention here, this Bastion should die. And he doesn't. Now he does. That's good. And we actually are ignoring the Bastion, which is pretty good for us. That chargeback is dangerous. And this other fight, you're basically the last person alive anyway. But you know what? We got an ultimate out. We got 2 ultimates out actually with Crab out as well. So that's pretty good. And now we have Blade. And Shatter and Mines, but Blade, like, they have nothing to counterplay. This should win us the fight and hopefully the game. Can you remember? We want to take rotations that will give us safe cover. I would honestly go this way. I know they are actually here. I don't know that they are like, I wouldn't in game, but I would like, okay, this is my safest rotation because chances are Bax is going to be on the high ground and shooting this way, so I can just go around. But the Bastion just ends up there for free. And honestly, you can ignore the Bastion. I would come here, shatter everything else, and then go on the Bastion. Never mind, the Bastion just gets slept. Solo shatter the Bastion because, of course, this, I think, is winnable. Our Genji with Blade died, but if we don't manage to get rest. Just regroup at this point, just die. We have one last fight, just die. Just die, just die. Everyone is dead, just die or get out. We have one more fight, and you will probably have to change to like Monkey or Diva. Because maybe you can get back with running time, but I would just change to Diva. To shield the first mage is the Bastion. You just charge out, which, you're staggering yourself so badly, oh no. You're gonna die anyway, just time the point. Yeah, you staggered so sad, like, that's a whole 9 seconds you staggered yourself. And you do go Monkey. By the way, the reason I told you that Diva is better is that they have Bastion, that's it. You can defense mage with Bastion as Diva, you cannot do that as Monkey. So you can get more value against the Bastion with Diva than with Monkey. We go for the Blade, no one's gonna touch. I'm not saying you lost that game, but you at least could have touched if you had died earlier. Like here, I'm okay with you swinging, okay. They rest Bastion, the fight is maybe lost. The fight is definitely lost. Just die. Look at this. 30 seconds. And I'm like, already I'm like, just die. The Bastion with the Shatter, I'll be honest, I'm okay with you solo shutdown the Bastion. Like, Bastion is definitely the biggest threat in their team, so I'm like, yeah, okay, I'd rather you let him sleep and shatter everyone else, but I understand the logic behind it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it, it's fine. I'm more concerned about the fact that this is lost at this point. Like, you took the Bastion out of the fight, you shattered, you killed the Bastion. Do I think it was necessary? No, I don't think it was necessary, but I think it's value, at least. It's not throwing away. But here, I'm like, it's 30 seconds, the fight is absolutely lost. Just die. Bastion will not stop shooting, just walk at the Bastion. Like, just walk at the Bastion will kill you. And we just survive for so long. Literally 11 seconds. That's such a big... Like, let's look at where the game actually ended. If we had 11 more seconds, you can drop, you can come in, your leap will be back on cooldown, or if you had Diva, your booster will be back on cooldown. You can dash pretty easily. I don't think you threw the last fight with the shatter. I think you could have died faster. Which I know dying is a bad concept, but if your whole team is dead, just die so we can respawn faster. And if we don't have a Lucio, we can't run away anyway. Also, I like that your Genji, like, your Genji is a classic Genji player, and instead of trying to touch with his blade, he tries to go for kills with his blade. Like, touching? The point? What's the point? This is such a classic Genji. Blading gives you a dash reset, so he could have dashed as well. It would have cost him his blade, which is, you know, bad, but he could have dashed. And I don't think the fight was winnable at this point, but at least you can keep the game alive, right? This is such a Genji move. First thing first, he does not dash. If I were this Genji, I would be like, I dash, I blade, I dash, I dash. And if someone tries to contest me, I kill. Play the game better than winning. And he slices and dices and doesn't have dash reset and cannot touch, and we just lose the game. And even now, when it's like 0.9 seconds, he's still looking for kills rather than touching. And that's so unfortunate. But yeah, the bigger things I think are play more with the corners. Like, think about how much more value you can get out of playing on the corners, forcing the enemy into your team sideline, and not going yourself into the enemy sideline. Stop charging as much, because your charges make you very vulnerable. And I think those are the biggest two. Oh, also, yeah. If a fight like that happens and the team fight is lost, just die. Sideline concept was very helpful. I don't want to say a very simple concept, but it's a pretty well-known concept on higher ranks that a lot of people on lower ranks will not get. Like, what I'll see a lot is that people on, like, and I say lower ranks, I mean like masters and below. So that includes a lot of people. What I see a lot is that people will know. Let me just reload it really quick. Just Dorado. Also, you said monkey. You played monkey for like 0.2 seconds. Don't worry about. Don't worry about saying monkey if you only got monkey to contest, right? But yeah, I see a lot of people know where to hold and know where to hold. Like, people know this is a good corner, this is a good high ground, but don't realize why. It's like, why is this good? I don't know. I just stand here because I see people at higher ranks stand here, right? Like, I watch GM players, I watch Overwatch League, and they stand on the corners here, so I just stand on the corners here. But it's good to know why, so you can manage your aggression, your defense, or just your holding. Whether you want to hold your space, you want to take space, or you just want to give them space. Space is a resource as much as health and, well, coolness. But yeah, it's good to know why corners are important rather than, yeah, I do this because I saw people do it. But okay. I actually call the stream there for today. It was 2 pretty long reviews, but yeah, I'll call it there for today. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. We probably have a long one on Thursday. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. No problem.